What's going on out there, good people, and welcome back to LMD Trading, where I am living my dream trading. We are back at the desk again for another daily trade recap. Today was a pretty good day. We've been having some good days in the market. It has not been the most conventional days of trading, but we have found a way to keep these days green, and today was no exception. Let's go ahead, let's throw that P&L on the chart today. Reviewing trades for January 24th. We took 9 trades today. I know that because I got 10 blocks on my spreadsheet and I only have one empty one. So took 9 trades, closed P&L 154. That's on $2,800 worth of buying power. We paid $35 in commissions, meaning that we had a net profit of $118.90. So that's basically 4% on that money. Not really a bad day. Had 2 red trades, 6 green trades, or I'm sorry, 7 green trades. Let's get the math right. A couple of these red trades were snafus, and a couple of the green trades were actually snafus. I was trying to buy calls when I accidentally bought puts, or vice versa. But that is what we did today. Let's go ahead, let's get these charts pulled up. And if you have not already hit that like button when you came in, now would be a great time. As you saw, we traded the SPY, we traded Meta, we traded Tesla, and we traded Apple. Let's go ahead, let's look at the SPY real quick. It was a fairly choppy morning and day in the SPY, but we found a couple of decent trades. One of them, we just stayed in it until it worked, basically. As the afternoon went on, actually was taking good trades. And one thing that I have found out about myself is that I am a trend line trader. I like trading trends. I like finding a trend on a time frame and then trading it. I like that. If you look at the daily, this trend line that you see, this red line, that is the trend line from the weekly chart. That is the trend line from the weekly chart, and look at how that thing hugged the trend line from the weekly chart. But if I could find a trend line on the daily, or not the daily, but on an intraday level, I will put that thing on there quick. And the easiest way for me to do that is to go off of a pivot. So I'm going to drop this one off of this first pivot in the morning. And then the next pivot, if it's in an uptrend, I'm going to drop it. And then I'm going to extend that to the right. And then I'm going to redraw it as a channel. And if I go to redraw it as a channel, it's kind of hard to find an area up in here. You can come all the way back up to, like, say, the first pivot after that pivot and drop it like either there, or you could drop it on the tail. I'm going to drop this one right here. And that's it. That's you work. That's a channel. It's an ugly channel. I will admit that. That's an ugly channel. But look at how this thing, when it came back to this base, it acted as support. It acted as support. It acted as support through there. It broke out of it, and then it acted as resistance. That's what I like to see. And this, like I said, is a very ugly trend. It's a very ugly trend, but it is a trend. So that is what I am finding that I like to trade. I like to trade as it's finding support or as it's finding resistance on a downtrend. and I especially love the breakouts. So it broke out here. I love the retest back down lower. I love the breakout, the retest back down lower. We don't get that retest until like way over here. But that is what I am finding that me personally, I enjoy trading. Let's go ahead. Let's get these contracts pulled up for what we were trading. First one that we took this morning was a call trade. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look at it. Let's change this back to an arrow. And let's get dropping some arrows on the chart. So this was the first one that we took. And let me make sure. Yep, that was a call. Getting in right here. Again, you notice I did not have this channel or this trend line on the chart. Look where I was buying at. I was buying right into the base of it. But at that time, I was trying to trade this back up to here, and I didn't do it. I got out in the same candle. So I got in that, paid 78 bucks. I got out at 85. So probably as it was coming back up to this area right here, I made 62 bucks. Did we take any other trades on this contract? Let me see. Nope, we didn't take any other trades. Look at that. That's why. We bought 8 contracts. Paid $78 per contract. We sold them for $85 per contract. That was $62 in that move. Had I stayed in it up into this upper channel, what was the high of that candle? 99. So almost $1. So that would have been $22. Let's call it, we'll call it $20. $20 per contract. Man, that could have been another $160 trading it up to there. But first trade out the blocks, we got an area marked on the chart. Let's go ahead. Let's lock in that profit. And then let's take a look at this next one. This next one was ugly. Downright ugly. And I'm glad I got this on the chart now. Let's start looking at these. And actually, these were before the calls that I just bought. So, first trade. And this was the actual green trade. Getting in right here, probably as it was breaking this point. No reason to be getting in it. Let's see where we got out. We got out as it was coming down and establishing our channel. So now let's look and see where our next entry was. Our next entry was right in the same candle. And this is where the foolishness begins. I'm buying a put right there. Is this establishing the base? I didn't know it at the time. Because again, I want to see 2 pivots. I want to see that pivot and this pivot here, but it's really down there is the pivot. But it has not established that. So I wouldn't have known that this trend line was establishing itself. But I'm buying right here to go lower. And look at what this thing does. It goes higher. So now I'm averaging in. I buy another one here. Remember, I'm buying puts right now. Go ahead. I'm going to remove these arrows just so that they don't confuse us. So I buy another contract there. I buy another one in this candle. So now I have 4 contracts that I want to be going short. And I'm just trading it. I'm just watching this up to this area because I know that this is the upper area of that channel. So let me do this because we got another one that we buy right there. Let's see where we buy that one at. So we buy that one in this candle. as it's coming back down. And we finally get out of all of these in this candle right here as it's coming back down. Again, I don't even know that this is a channel at that point in the morning. I do not know that that's a channel. But look where I was trading at, right inside of the channel. And on this trade, I made $31. Made $31. Had this came up, tested, and broke out of this area, all bets would have been off. I would have got out of the trade for whatever that loss would have been. Probably would have been a decent loss. But not bad, not bad. And I think that was it for this contract. Yep, that was it for that contract. No more trades. And that was expiring today. Yep, so that's why you see these barcodes. As the day goes on contracts that expire the same day, there's no action on them. So after about the first hour, I won't trade those contracts that's expiring the same day. But early on, I will, because you can make money on those. But let's go ahead. Let's take a peek at Meta. Take a peek and see how we traded Meta. Meta was another one. This was me not paying attention to detail, because these are puts. And you can instantly look at this chart and tell I was just doing some foolishness. So Meta opened down below previous day's close, made this move up, and it was holding previous day's close. I wanted to take puts right here. Or I'm sorry, I wanted to take calls, but I only had a put loaded in the system. I clicked it, not paying attention to detail. It was a put. I noticed it and I got out of it. Then I went and I added a call to the watch list. And I'm like, okay, let me get back in, because this is going to be a good trade. I get back in that same exact candle. You can see it right here. I sold at 62. I bought 5 contracts at 58. And I'm like, all right, let's go. Nope. I didn't click the doggone call contract to load it. It still had the put contract. So now I'm like, oh man, what are you doing? So at this point, let me bring this over real quick. I'm just in this thing and I'm looking at key areas. And I said, if this breaks this area, 145, if it breaks the whole number, I'm out of this trade. And it does not. I stay in it. I'm watching, seeing what the market is doing. I'm seeing what this is going to do. And when I can get back out, I get back out right there. And I make $38. So I turned this one, which I lost $2 on because I knew I was in the wrong contract. Let me get out flat. I get right back in a jacked up situation. And then I say, I'm going to hold this because 145 is a key area. If this breaks 145, retest and goes higher, Apple or Meta is on a run to go higher for the day. So I'm going to get out. But if it doesn't, I'm going to stay patient. And we're going to see if we can make money on this one. I probably could have bought like I did on SPY and kind of averaged down right here and bought some cheaper plays, but I didn't want to take that chance on this one. And I got out and I made $40 on this trade. I made $40 on a trade that was a total mess up. But think if I had bought the call right there, this was a good trade. I had the right idea. Just a bad situation on me not picking the contract that I wanted. But that was Meta. Ended up finishing out up $38 on that trade. Next one, Tesla. See what we did on Tesla. Tesla was another fairly ugly one that just kind of spun wheels on. Yeah, really just spun wheels on this trade. Really didn't even make back. Don't think I made back the fees. Let's see what the trade was. It should have been a well thought out trade. So I thought, looking at the chart though. And these are calls. I'm chasing. I am outright chasing. So I get in right here and I mark it out of this thing as it's coming up to here. And I catch a horrible market fill and I make $5. I make $5. Not much room in this trade. So again, not a good trade. The good trade was right here as it was pulling back to the moving average and you get a nice breakout. But I missed the trade. And in the video, you see me kind of fumbling around and then I just catch it late. Let's come to the next one that we take. Same contract. I get in right here, buying right into an area of resistance. Why would you do that? Let's look at the 5. Okay, the 5 does give a slightly different picture. So I'm buying as it breaks the previous close, and this line is not on the chart at that time. This line is not on the chart. You see I dropped it right here, and I'm dropping it because of this area. So let me remove that. That's what my picture looked like at the time. So I'm trading this back up to previous high of day. It's not a bad look on the 5-minute chart. This is really not a bad look. I'm buying it as it breaks previous day's close and trading it back up. And look at what it does. Exactly what my thought was that it was going to do. I just didn't give it time to work. So I got out of this one. I make $5. And then I get back in right here. Or let's see, get back in. Yep, on that candle right there. Again, I'm not looking at the 1-minute chart at this time of morning. I'm looking at the 2-minute chart. But more so at the 5, because the 5 is really giving me the picture that I want to see. So I get in right here. And where do I get out at? I get out on this candle right here. And I take a $3 loss. Why? Why? I got to go back and look at the video on this one. I do remember mentioning in the Discord that why didn't I just take and let this trade work? Whatever that risk is, let it work, because it did. It held previous day's close and it went to my first area of concern. First area of concern was previous high of day. It does not break it anymore, but trade the chart and trade the trade. So I end up losing $3 on that trade, net $2. I make $2 on that trade. Just bad business. Trade the chart, dude. All right, and now let's look at the last one, Apple. Apple was some good trading going on Apple. I'm not sure what the first trades were. I'm gonna have to start putting long and short on my chart, on my spreadsheet, so I can kind of glance over and see. Let's see. So this one we got in at 13:55. Let's see what time we got in the call zone, because I kind of want to do these in the right order. Okay, so this was the first trade that we took. And you see a bunch of lines on this bad boy. This is why I say I like trend lines. So again, we working with the 5-minute. I mean with the 2-minute on this one. And you see a lot of lot of stuff going on this one. This line right here was not on the chart. That was one that Evan told me about, and I put it on there, and it definitely was a solid trend line. But I drew this trend line again based off of this point and this point. And this trend line was on the chart as I was trading. This one was as well, catching just this little tiny down move. So you see we're in an uptrend, and then we get in this little micro downtrend, and then the stock gets back in this uptrend channel. So I take a trade right there, just one contract, because it's afternoon. We're just sitting in the Discord kind of chatting, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try this. So I get in one contract there, I stay in, and I get out right there as it's coming back up to this area. At that time, I did have this line on the chart based on over here, looking to the left. Could have stayed in all the way up to previous high of day, but nope. I got this area clearly marked. Let's go ahead. Let's get what we can. We kind of just trading, seeing how this was working. Made $7 on this contract. So nothing really to write home about, but let's see. Let's see if it's going to work. Let's see if that thesis is going to work that I'm looking at. It's getting back in. We get the retest. It holds. Sure enough, bought 10 contracts. That would have been $70. Let's look at the last one, which is Apple. And you're going to see me playing it both sides of the fence. So this one, we played it as it got back in the channel going up. Apple comes up, starts coming back down, and we get in on this candle right here. Guess what? As it's failing. So it got in the channel, but it didn't go higher. Rolled over and it failed. And we stayed in this one until this candle right here. Solid trade. And you know why I got out right there? Because guess what? It's using this trend line now as support. It's using that trend line as support. So I just managed that out until it comes down to it. And that trade there, we made $14 on that contract. And based on what we paid $136 for the contract. We sold it for $150, made $14. That represented 10% P&L on that money. So that's not bad. That's not bad. Again, imagine if that was 5 contracts. That would have been $75. So not a bad deal. But that is why I like these trend lines, because these stocks are totally trading based on them. One that I did want to look at, someone had mentioned this this stock in the Discord. They had took a trade on it, and I just looked at it and I was like, let me try something. Let me draw a trend line on it and see what it does. So watch this. I'm gonna draw this trend line. It establishes lower day. Then it sets a higher low. So let's go from the established morning low to the next candle that establishes a higher low. I'm gonna click it. I am going to extend it to the right. Look at what we see. It's respecting it. It's respecting it. Then you can go ahead, redraw it as a channel, and base it off of the first pivot high. I'll click it right there. Look at that. It's trading in that channel. Now, as it comes up to previous high of day, that kind of blocks it. It kind of runs interference on keeping it from getting back up to the high of that channel until it breaks it. And then it uses that as resistance. It comes back down. It breaks the channel. We get the retest, which is also right where previous high of day is. It fails it. And look at what this thing does the rest of the day. It trades along the moving average, just failing down. Just failing down. And you could, if you wanted to, come here. Let's see what that channel looks like. You see it trading right up along it. Tries to break out. Tries to go higher. You won't start trading back higher until it breaks the high of that right there. And that's how I would have did that. I just draw a line right there. So now this is not changing trend until this can get back above, retest, and go higher. Just because it breaks out of it, you don't get the retest telling you that it's going higher until it breaks that. And then it just pushes it back down and continues lower. So that is why I love trend lines. And I am finding that I am such a better trend line trader than probably anything else in the way that I trade. But I hope y'all enjoyed this recap. Been running a little bit longer lately because I think I've been getting a little more detailed in the way that I kind of break these down. But I think that's important to see how these stocks are respecting the trend lines. And I go all the way out to the weekly to put trend lines on the chart, because that longer time frame, those trend lines are much more respected. And then as the morning progresses or as the day progresses, I'll start drawing those intraday trend lines. But I hope y'all enjoyed this recap. If so, please, please, please hit that like button if you hadn't done so already. If you're not subscribed, please think about subscribing. Working to get some more content on the channel. It's just hard. It's hard, but I need to find some time to get it done. And as always, we can continue the conversation in the comments. How did you do today? Hopefully it was a green day. It was a little choppy. I think tomorrow is going to be the day. If the SPY can get over 402 tomorrow morning, and if we can get a retest and it can go higher, I think tomorrow could be a good day. I think the market could move higher if we can get over 402. If not, we could probably see another chop fest of it just kind of chopping around. But as always, got to trade that chart. Got to trade what the chart is showing you and not have a bias coming in the morning, because that bias can easily change. And if you don't change the bias, you could find yourself on the wrong side of some trades. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up, and we'll be back at it again tomorrow. Peace.